I don't know if I'm ready to watch this video. It's called The Darkest Lost Media Volume 1. It's a non-fiction documentary, meaning it's based on actual real-life things that have happened. But apparently it's pretty scary, so let's lock in and check it out. Content warning. Topics discussed in this video are disturbing and contain some other stuff.
On April 25th, at this bus stop, one boy, 15 years old, shot and killed a 17-year-old boy with a revolver.
WXLT TV, Channel 40, Sarasota, Bradenton.
By the way, it's analog horror themed. I don't know if you picked up on that quite yet, but you guys seem to love analog horror. I think that you guys love it so much because I hate it. I think that's what it is. I don't know if you guys necessarily watch the analog horror video and are like, yes, I'm enjoying this. I'm hoping at least it's more so like you guys enjoy watching me hate it. All right, so far though, it's freaking me out already. I can't lie.
Lost media is a topic that I have been enamored by for years, yet have surprisingly not formally gotten into. The thought of disturbing TV broadcasts, audio, and VHS footage that have been lost to time is fascinating, and the links that people go to find them is incredible.
You know what else fascinates me? Kind of in the same thing, but like, I don't know much about it really, so I recommend you do your own research, but apparently like frequencies are a big thing, or at least have a significant impact on the human brain. For example, I saw this thing, I don't even know if it's true, but it's something like, if you, let's just say sand, right? You have like a circle of sand and you play music into the sand, it'll turn the sand into a specific pattern. That's not exactly what it is, but hopefully you get the point.
So much dark and disturbing content has existed even before the internet. And the aim of this series is to dive into them, their search, and their stories, because, as it turns out, some of the darkest lost media out there seems to have always existed.
Okay.
Among Us.
Oh God. Among Us. Alright, so the synopsis is that there's a bunch of lost footage, lost art, lost stuff out there that's very dark and scary, and Nexpo is gonna go over it for us. Oh boy. From Nexpo with love. Shout out. Here we go. Tape 001, the devil hidden within them. Yeah, bro, I don't know, I don't like that. I don't.
The following is a presentation of the Christian Television Network.
Bro, what? That's like that cranberry commercial. Or is this like a knockoff Nickelodeon? Yo, what's crazy is like when I was growing up, this is kind of what TV looked like. Wait, hang on, let me rephrase that. Hold on, it wasn't actually that bad. This was probably like 10 years before me. I'm not that old. I'm 27, I was born in 1990. Which apparently now, this is a new thing, but like if you say you're born in the 1990s, like you get made fun of. Like that's like super old. Like people are like, bro, you're born in the 90s? Like people make jokes about people my age being around like in the dinosaur era. Like I'm 27, that's really not that old. Anyway, yeah, this is like kind of what TV looked like. I was probably the next generation after this type of TV. I grew up with like Drake and Josh, SpongeBob, that sort of stuff.
Join us for a half hour of fun and games at Joy Junction. Now here's Sheriff Don.
Yo, what is this, man? This is so weird.
1980. A show is broadcasting on the Christian Television Network named Joy Junction. It's textbook public access TV. Set at the eponymous village and hosted by the town.
Wait, hang on. I am dialed, I am locked in. I swear I just saw something pop up on the screen though. Like in the middle right here. I don't know if there's gonna be like Easter eggs. I've never watched one of this guy's videos before. Like something that popped up right here. It says Joy Junction, hang on.
Access TV.
Oh, it just popped up again, it said Joy Junction. Okay, I don't know what that was. Isn't that weird though? Like that seems pretty weird that just popped up. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't be so inquisitive. Well, let's just lock in, boys, come on.
Set at the eponymous village and hosted by the town sheriff. Throughout the show's lifespan, the town residents would join in for educational bits about the Bible, and kids were encouraged to take part in various games.
So it's a religious
been
thing.
Pretty successful during its time, as it was on the air for a few years. Bizarrely, nearly every record and archive of this show ever existing have been wiped though, merely leaving us with a handful of surviving re-uploads on YouTube. This has, admittedly, made it difficult to find any further information about Joy Junction aside from what we can distill from the existing footage. But that's okay, because that's not the main reason we're here anyway.
Okay. So it was a big TV show in the 80s.
Hey, Ron, good to see you. Ron, I've been waiting on you. Oh, I'm sorry I got tied up, Marty, but traffic was heavy and the stores were busy. You know how it is when you go shopping.
One of the show's cast members was a ventriloquist by the name of Ron, and he was present in nearly every episode, joined by his doll Marty.
They're going to come back. Well, I did come back, didn't I? Yeah, I told you I would.
Bro, they sound so creepy back then. I don't know if it's because they talk differently. Like, he does seem to have an accent. I guess he's from the South, but I think it's gotta be the audio. Like, the audio is just what's like creeping me out. And I guess that's what the analog horror vibe is. It's that old like VHS style, which this probably actually is a VHS tape, which is why I was actually gonna say that's likely why you can't find any of this stuff on YouTube or whatever, because the way that it was filmed might not have been entirely compatible with the new age of social media.
Back, didn't I? Yeah. And I'm sorry.
Typically, they'd have a quick conversation about whatever the topic of the day was, and it, at least in the surviving archives, appeared to serve as a bridge between two segments of the show. Ron's full name was Ronald Brown, and in the
That
years
thing popped
following
up
the
again,
show's
bro.
eventual end,
I'm sorry, I have to look at what that says, just in case.
Ron's full name was Ronald
Oh, it just said Ronald Brown and then popped. Okay, all right. I don't think it's gonna be. I'm not gonna pause it anymore whenever that happens. Let's continue.
Brown, and in the years following the show's eventual end, he'd launch his own puppeteering company out of Florida called Puppets Plus.
It's insanely creepy, bro.
On his website at puppetsplus.com, we can observe a myriad of their clients, along with the age groups that he was primarily hired for.
2 to 5.
Ages 2 to 5 and 6 to 11.
Wait, why would he not just put 2 to 11? Does he not do like 5.5-year-olds? I guess he probably brings different puppets for the different ages. That actually makes sense. This is literally the worst website I've ever seen, by the way. I know it was like 30 years ago, so this probably actually was a good website for back then, but my God, I would vomit if I went to this site today.
Now, at first glance, this seems par for the course in his profession. Children's entertainment was his forte. However, it's when we back up and take a look at Ronald as a person when things begin to sour. You see, throughout the years, Ronald had a strange dynamic with children. For instance, in 1998, he was pulled over for a traffic violation and was found to be in possession of boys' underwear. His excuse was that he used them for his puppets, and he was eventually let off.
He used boys' underwear for his puppets. Is that something I would believe? Honestly, yeah, probably. Yo, that was 27 years ago, by the way. Shout out 1998. Also, no like hate or disrespect to people who play with puppets. I wouldn't trust you. If you're a fully grown adult that's doing like puppeteering or whatever, yeah, I don't trust you. I'm not saying like I dislike you or I hate you or anything. I'm just saying, let's just say I'm not surprised that this guy was seemingly misbehaving with boys. As at least that's what he's allegedly, that's what's happening.
Other complaints came throughout the 2000s about him giving rides to kids in his church van. Unfortunately, police could never do much because there wasn't any explicit crime being committed. It was incredibly strange.
He was just known to be a
unfortunately not enough
weirdo.
to warrant any sort of arrest. Where things really get nutty though is when we jump to the early 2010s, in which Brown would find himself caught in a web of controversy.
Yeah, wait, that's actually kind of recent. '2010s is like not that long ago, 15 years ago. It could even be just 10 years ago, not even. Okay, if it's 2010s, no way he's using that computer. This thing's ancient. I did used to have one of those though, growing up, I can't lie. Oh, maybe 2010s. I would say more like 2000s. Anyway, hello, how are you? Good, you? Is this AIM? Is this AOL? Doing well. And C? Sadly, he is doing well. I wish I had him tied and gagged in the Hey, yo.
In May of 2012, a man named Michael Arnett was arrested after a sting operation. He was charged with the production of, and upon searching his home and computer, they would find chat logs on Yahoo Messenger between he and a person going by the name U.E. Lime.
He would make a fine Easter feast. Yes, his thighs and butt cheeks would be fantastic for Easter. I agree. You could be spending today partying him out, getting a pan ready for the button. Yo, I can't, bro. What is this? What video am I watching right now, bro? What? I would have the time to do it today if I only had him. Bro, oh my God. I probably shouldn't say this, but like this is like a very jokingly type of conversation I would have like with Adam about someone else, but like we're completely joking. And we probably wouldn't go this far either, by the way. That's my style of humor. Like this is hilarious. I mean, to me, that's freaking hilarious. I think it's even funnier that they're not joking. I guess they're not even kidding, bro. Holy crap, that's hilarious. Obviously, it's not funny. Like if stuff actually happens, like that's not cool. I don't condone any of that. It's just hilarious, bro. Come on. Holy crap.
As it turned out, Arnett wouldn't produce these images.
I would have been up all night enjoying it, bro. Oh my God.
Sweet Talker Linda, and Calf Keeper 2.
Bro.
You'll notice that U.E. Lime was outward about their desires. They expressed interest in cannibalism, torture, sexual assault, and all of it was directed towards children, even as young as 2.
Dude, as young as 2?
Though, is that U.E. Lime wasn't just a random person.
Yeah, who is that? Who's U.E. Lime?
It was Ronald Brown. His secret online alias in which he'd express his fantasy about the kids he surrounded himself with daily.
Wait, who was the first guy? I thought...
Let me remind you that this was a man whose entire career, entire life, was centered around associating with kids.
Bro.
Someone who was, at one point, on television in front of thousands. To say that these chat logs were a bad look would be putting it lightly. And yes, the messages you're seeing are straight out of the official case file.
Yo. Alright, yo, some of that might have to get blurred. That's insane. I am glad though that was from the case file, because imagine it wasn't. And like the guy who made this video like just came up with his own chat and was like, you know what, I'm gonna just say that this is what happened. That would be pretty crazy. He would have had a field day with that one. But no, that's from the actual files. Holy cow.
After corresponding with Yahoo.com, authorities were able to track down Ronald Brown and tie his username to a profile on a necrophilia website named cutedeadguys.net. Ronald's profile has been lost to time. However, through his own case report, we're able to find details describing it. On this site, his bio read,
Bro.
I love them young and dead. I enjoy them fresh, but like to see them displayed in their casket too.
That's
and a
like
few snippets
what?
From his post history. I like the blonde boy. Would love to snuff him.
Yo, hang on. I just want to make this abundantly clear. I didn't know what this video was about going into it. And then I did a little bit of research on this. I asked ChatGPT, like, just give me like a very brief synopsis summary of what this video is about, just to see, you know, if it seems interesting or not. And I told her not to spoil me at all. And it just seemed like interesting. You know, it was about lost tapes from the past of like, you know, analog horror style. I was like, all right, bet. Like, it was documentary based on real life events. My bad. That's all I'm gonna say. My bad, guys. But like on one hand, I'm like, my bad, I'm sorry. But on the other hand, I'm locked in and I'm dialed into this story. Like I actually do want to know what happens. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, here we are. I mean, let's move on. I just felt like I had to say that. Here we go.
Hot pics. That boy looks dead. I like that one.
Bro.
I'd love to kill them.
Oh my God.
It's safe to say that at this point, there was more than enough to warrant an arrest. And on July 19th of 2012, that notion would finally become a reality.
Just can't believe people like that
Marshals
exist.
arrested a Largo man for possessing and conspiring to kidnap a child. They say he was a puppeteer who performed for children in the Bay Area. News Channel 8's Yolanda Fernandez has been following this story for. She's joining us.
Well, was he not famous? I thought it was like kind of famous.
Well, Keith, 57-year-old Ron Brown is here in the Pinellas County Jail tonight. Federal investigators say it was his gruesome and very graphic online chats with the known...
Yo, this is crazy, bro.
Brown's house was raided, and scattered across his home were images of pictures of kids being tied up, and even some that appeared to be dead.
Wait, dude, that's Bill Gates. All right, I'm just kidding. I'm not like, it probably isn't, but dude, does that not look like Bill Gates? Look, hang on, bro, that's literally Bill Gates. Anyway, if I ever saw a grown man with those, like, it's one thing to be a puppeteer. I already told you, I would not trust you if you're a puppeteer. I don't even care what kind of puppets you do. But if you're doing like that dude's kind of puppets, like that guy needs to be arrested or like investigated at least. Those were the freakiest, scariest, creepiest looking puppets I ever seen. Clearly, like he's got something wrong with him. How was he not under investigation like a long time ago?
Agents found CDs with much of the same material, a blow-up doll dressed in boys' clothes, a journal he kept about his fantasies dating back to 1978, and even books about serial killers and cannibalism.
It's not funny. I can't believe I'm watching this right now.
He was guilty of possession of and was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison with a lifetime of supervision thereafter. Had he lived out his full sentence, he would be out sometime in 2033. However, as of August of 2020, it's reported that he is now deceased.
Oh, he's dead. I mean, I don't wish harm upon anyone.
Goes out to the children who had to suffer for the pleasure of this monster, and all of those who associated with him. For his entire life, he was calculated and knew what he was doing. His career, his church van favors, his company parties were some of the darkest desires imaginable. In hindsight, I understand why Joy Junction's records were wiped. It was a show with a good premise and good intentions. I won't deny that.
Oh, okay.
However, now bears a reputation forever stained by the devil, hidden within them.
Look at this freak in there. Alright, I believe that this is going to be, I guess, topic number 2, a Warner Brothers production. Warner Brothers Pictures and the Vitaphone Corporation, Dolores Costello, Noah's Ark.
The year is 1928, and a romantic disaster film about Noah's Ark
so long ago. It's almost 100 years ago.
Directed by a man named Michael Curtis, it premieres during a transitional period between silent movies and talkies, or films with actual spoken dialogue. Because of this, it's mostly regarded as a hybrid film with long scenes being played over music. And with it comes a healthy dose of extensive criticism. Most of the backlash is due to its runtime, clocking in at a whopping 2 hours and 15 minutes long, with considerable portions containing awkward dialogue and drawn-out scenes. Sitting through this movie is, to put it lightly, a considerable undertaking.
Yeah, I swear all old movies are trash though, but they were like the foundation of what we have today, so no hate on them. Like, they kind of need to be a thing for us to have, you know, Avengers, for example, today, but they're all so bad.
Because of this, the film is pulled for revision, and the cut content is never shown again.
Oh, wait, what happened to the cut content? Wait a minute.
A good portion of the cut footage came from what the movie is mostly known for today, and that's the flood scene.
What happened in the flood? Wait, wasn't that called Noah's Ark? Isn't the whole idea the thing about the flood? How do they cut that from the movie? How do you cut the flood from the movie about the flood? Oh my god, did people die? No way people died in the making of the movie.
In it, we can observe a slew of actors fighting their way out of a crumbling temple and towards the Ark to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have CGI back then.
It's a set with a lot going on, and keeping in mind the time period, all of this was pulled off with practical effects.
Yeah.
These people were legitimately submerged.
Oh my god, bro, they had like a moose in there. This is actually very dangerous. Yo, who would ever sign up to do that?
Some might consider the acting here to be pretty well done. Like I said, this scene is grand, and due to the time period, was all pulled off practically. The thing is, some of these actors weren't actually acting, as during this scene, 3 actors drowned and reportedly lost their leg. This was the result of over 600,000 gallons of water being dumped across the set, something that the film's extras were reportedly unaware of. It's been reported that, before filming commenced, Michael Curtis was warned against putting so many people in danger. However, he shrugged it off, claiming that the extras were expected to be prepared for anything, and that, quote, they're just gonna have to take their chances.
They're just gonna have to take their chances? Did they not sign like some sort of insurance or like, I guess they had signed a waiver that was like, oh, if you die, GG. Like, how is the film crew not held accountable? How is your answer? They're just gonna have to take their chances. Because if they do die, the guy making the movie should be held reliable or accountable for it and have to pay a lot of money for literally killing people. He literally killed people. Accidentally, but still. All right, got it. That's all me. That's my bad.
The original cut of the movie. It's rumored that you could see these deaths happen on screen with a much more fleshed out flood scene. However, since the revisions, that original version is forever considered lost. It's rumored that Curtis was in pursuit of relentless perfection. He wanted his movie to be grand and authentic. However, in this chase came a loss of life that did not need to happen, leaving Noah's Ark forever stained with an enduring legacy.
I mean, what's even more tragic is apparently they said the movie came out terrible. It wasn't even a good movie. At the end of the day, people died for this movie. It didn't even come out good. They had to like cut out a bunch of scenes. It was way too long. Oh God, like being those people who died. I mean, I hate to say it, but they died for a garbage reason. No disrespect, like at all, but I'm just saying it makes the death even worse. Like if the movie came out to be like one of the greatest movies of all time, you know, you could at least be like, I died for, you know, one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever. Like kind of W a little bit at least. But in this case, it's like, it's even worse. Here we go, tape number 3.
Searching
Get out.
for a website, a window to the world, got to get
Star Wars.
online. Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set, you're going surfing on the internet.
Yo, nah, I didn't like that. We're back to the analog horror vibes. Not cool.
On the 2nd of July 2014, an ad was made.
Craigslist?
On Craigslist.
No. Nah, bro, we've seen some Craigslist videos before. And they're awful. I never understood the whole Craigslist phase. I mean, I guess I was a kid when Craigslist was a big deal, so I never really had the money to go on Craigslist and buy anything, but the whole idea of it like sussed me out. Like you're literally just going on this, first of all, sketchy website. It was never like good looking, but also you talk to some random stranger about like driving to their house and buying something from them. It just never, I don't know, it always seemed weird. And you can sell whatever you want on the thing.
Came from an 18-year-old girl named Brooke Slocum and was but a simple request for cash.
Help wanted. I need $50 by 3:30 p.m.
I need
today.
$50 by 3:30 p.m. today. I can pay you back later tonight, but I need gas and some mess quick. Everyone has bronchitis at my house and I do not want to get sick. I'm 8 months pregnant and my lungs are all squished as is. If you could help, me and my daughter will greatly appreciate it.
I have a very strong suspicion that this is not a lady who was 8 months pregnant and then some fat dude with a scruffy beard. Also, what is and some mess quick? What does that mean? I can pay you back later tonight, but I need some gas and some mess quick? Are they trying to say Nesquik? Like the chocolate milk? Nesquik? I don't know what that means.
This post remained untouched for 10 days.
I mean, who would ever do that? Who would just go give some random person $50? Whoa.
At 10:08 p.m. on the night of July 12th, Slocum receives an email from a man going by the name Mike's Hard.
Mike's Hard Lemonade. That's the thing.
I can host. What are you thinking? I'm 25.
I can host.
This was a reply to other separate ads that Brooke made around the same time period in which she would solicit for money. According to her friends, it wasn't willingly, as her then boyfriend, 25-year-old Charles Oppenheer, would coerce her to do this while accompanying her during these meetups.
Okay.
Reluctant, Slocum responds 20 minutes later.
Well, we're looking for donations if possible. Kinda in a tight spot, and we have a baby on the way. As far as the fund goes, though, there won't be any mail.
Okay, I didn't understand at first. I'm getting it now, and it's kind of no comment, actually.
How does $120 sound? I can drive you over here if you need.
No, we can travel, just can't host is all. When and where would you like to meet up?
I like to f*** outside in a park around 11:30. That okay?
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for indecent exposure or anything. I can't go to jail being 8 months pregnant.
What am I watching, bro?
It's cop-free.
Bro.
It's a park, but behind it there are lots of woods. No cops at all.
Yeah, dude.
This last email arrived at 10:59 p.m. And as we can see, Mike's Hard was keen on meeting that same night. Needless to say, Slocum ended up accepting, and their trip to Kazan Park in White...
Yo, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad at all for what's about to happen. I don't, like, obviously neither party's in the right, I think, but they're both, like, freaking weird, man. This lady's 8 months pregnant and selling herself. Bro, what? And they're meeting in the park? Yo, there's no way it's gonna work. There's no way it's ever gonna end well. She's dead. Surely she's gonna die. All right, what am I looking at? Who is this? Is this Mike? Is this Mike's Hard? Is it Mike's Hard or Mike Shard? The questions everyone would like to know. I think he just...
It's midnight.
Did he just grab a gun? Is that what I saw?
The couple arrives, with Mike pulling up shortly after.
This is so
Initially
strange,
believing this to be another sex meetup, the two approach Mike without much concern. Sometime during the next few minutes, Brooke is grabbed, bound and shoved into the trunk of Mike's car. In haste, Charles tries to help, however is unsuccessful, resulting in a violent altercation between the two. It's unclear how long this fight lasted.
Oh my god.
However,
oh
what is certain is that during this, Charles was
god, you got him. Oh.
Mike drags his body near the woods, saws his head off, and covers the remains with sticks.
All right, I know I said earlier, whatever happens, I don't feel bad. I do feel a little bit bad. But at the same time, like, it was really stupid of them to do that, but God, it's awful.
And without so much of a single witness, he jumps in his car, and alongside Charles' head and Brooke Slocum stowed behind him, drives off into the night.
I can't believe how psycho some people are. Like, these are true stories. Like, if you look these up, I'm sure you'll find some stuff on it. This is insane. Like, I get freaked out by the analog horror stuff, but the fact that this stuff is real actually makes it even more creepy to me.
Had not moved in days. Police began probing on his whereabouts. When asked, his parents drummed up nothing. His work, nothing. No one knew where he was, but his car was there. And so they began searching the park on July 17th, 5 days after the incident with Mike's Hard. Upon scouring the wooded area that lined its back end, they then discover a headless body under some brush. And it was later identified as Charles Oppenheimer.
Oh, that's so sad. On one hand, on the other hand it's not, but on one hand it is, but on the other hand it's not.
In the coming hours, it was realized that Oppenheimer wasn't single, and his girlfriend, too, was missing. In haste, authorities obtained a search warrant for her apartment and began searching her laptop. On it, there were a myriad of conversations. However, one thread from Mike's Hard stood out among the rest. The Internet Crimes Against Children Unit was called in for analysis on the real name behind the alias, and they found that this address was tied to another email which was tied to a Facebook for a man not named Mike, but Brady Ostrike.
Yeah, I mean, he looked pretty creepy.
They stake out near his home while they await a search warrant. There wasn't enough evidence for an arrest warrant by this point, so that was a frustrating roadblock.
Yo, I actually think that that's pretty stupid. Essentially, the police are not allowed to investigate that guy's house until they go to like a judicial system. I don't know exactly the process, but they have to get a search warrant before they're allowed to go in. But like, if they have that much evidence where it's like, dude, this 8-month lady is pregnant and missing, we're pretty confident that this guy might have her. Why can't we just go, like, we should be able to go search his house right now. Like, we have a reasonable cause or reasonable evidence to suspect that this guy could be, a culprit. And if he's not, he's not. Now, if he's not, oh, big whoop. All right, yo, sorry, man. Sorry to barge in and all that, whatever. We'll let you go. But like, they have to wait extra time, maybe days, sometimes weeks, sometimes even months to search specific buildings, in which case would give those people time to cover up their tracks. But like, in a case like this, bro, like, it's literally life or death. The police should just be able to go in. Come on.
Happening. However, around 9 p.m. on the night of July 17th, Brady would be spotted jumping into his car and leaving his home. A few moments later, he stopped by a nearby officer. Before they could get to him, though, he takes off, leading to a grueling pursuit.
All right, I can't lie, these are fun to watch. I hope we get a lot of footage of this. Police chases are some top tier content on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. Okay. Where'd he go? Oh, he's still straight? I want to see some pit maneuvers out of the boys. I'm always scared a cop's gonna get T-boned going through one of these.
And crashes into a cement barrier. As the officers pull up for apprehension, however, he on the head.
Oh, jeez.
Falls.
I really hope that was my dog. I just heard something upstairs. This is not a good time to be hearing things upstairs. I don't like that. Hi, buddy, how do you say, restarted himself.
And searched his vehicle. In it was 31-year-old Brady Ostrike, dead in the front seat. And in the trunk, stuffed within a suitcase, was 18-year-old Brooke Slocum and her unborn daughter, both of whom were deceased. Upon searching Ostrike's home shortly after, they discovered a plethora of ropes, knives, swords, cages, straps, and bizarre writings that make little to no sense at all. His toilet was inoperable, and the entire place was nothing short of rancid.
I just can't believe people like that exist. Like, what is that? How is that possible?
Most interesting of all, however, was the discovery of cameras. As it turned out, he had them all over his home so he could document his actions. And what you're seeing here is Ostrike as he prepares the basement.
Yo, that's creepy. I don't like seeing that.
For those agonizing 5 days.
Yo, this is actually really creepy.
Now, there exists footage of Brady Ostrike's grueling torture of Brooke Slocum. However,
oh my God.
You'll never see it. The police department has gone on record to say that they will never release it, however describe it as something straight out of a nightmare. During the time Slocum was captive, and even when police were right outside the home, she was locked in handcuffs with a chain around her neck. Reportedly, Ostrike had bound her arms to the ropes hanging from the ceiling and left her dangling while he sexually assaulted and tortured her before strangling her to death. All of this was captured on film.
Yo, I just want to say that I apologize again for bringing everyone that's still here through the trenches with me. Yeah, sorry for bringing you guys through this with me again. I didn't know entirely what we were even getting into. And it's way worse than I thought. This is, I mean, as bad as it gets. And I just want to say I'm sorry.
Years later, Oppenheimer's head was found off some back roads, 17 miles north of Gizon Park. It's a chilling end to a disturbing online saga and really drives home the fact that you really don't know who it is you're meeting with on Craigslist, dating apps, OfferUp, what have you, until you actually come face to face.
That's what I'm saying. I'm never going on Craigslist ever,
began as a simple request for just $50 had led to the loss of 3 lives following a days-long nightmare orchestrated by a depraved man. The torture footage is, as of 2022, considered indefinite lost media that may never see the light of day. However, considering what exactly it entails, I don't think we'd really want it to.
Yeah, that should not ever be released. I don't blame the police for not releasing that. That just sounds awful. Oh my God, man. I don't know. I think that might be the worst one. That's definitely the worst one. Here we go. Tape number 4. In living color.
Coast Federal. Win Armstrong for Coast Federal.
WXLT TV, Channel 40, Sarasota, Bradenton.
We're with you on ABC. With you.
40 is yours. Better, all of fine, 40 is yours. What?
The year is 1972, and a reporter named Christine Chubbuck eagerly lands a job at WXLT Channel 40 in Sarasota, Florida. Initially hired as a reporter, she was reassigned to a spot named Suncoast Digest, a local affairs segment that ran at 9 a.m. every Saturday. During her time there, she'd become attracted to a fellow reporter named George Ryan and would seek his attention by baking him cakes and expressing a desire to hang out. When she realized that he was already romantically involved with another coworker, however, it was detrimental to her self-image, as Christine historically had difficulty finding love. According to her family, she'd go on dates with various men throughout the years, however had trouble connecting socially with them. On top of this, by 1973, Chubbuck underwent surgery to have one of her ovaries removed, and as a result, her doctors began to pressure her, claiming that if she wasn't able to conceive within 2 to 3 years thereafter, she may never be able to.
Oh, that's sad. That is really sad. I'm surprised like she can't find a guy though, because she's not ugly. You know, she's pretty. And guys, you know, come on. She must have been like a psycho or something. Like, how does she not find a guy? I mean, I'm not saying she's like drop dead gorgeous, but you know, she should be able to find someone. I'm getting the feeling that we're gonna find out she's actually crazy.
Living Color on NBC.
Super spy Fred Flintstone is off on the trail of the mysterious green goose, a master of
Tonight we begin with the death of a man armed with scissors. He was shot by police 24 times.
Oh my God, bro.
Get him to do something about the problem. Meantime, they say they're going to back the leafleting up with a meeting this Friday with city and state officials.
Good evening. More than 100 people were reported dead in a plane crash near New York's Kennedy Airport.
Okay, what does this have to do with what's happening?
The plane was an Eastern Airlines 727 nearing the end of a
As 1974 approached, Chubbuck witnessed a shift in news methodology. Christine always had a desire to pursue what she believed to be high-impact stories about issues affecting the community. However, WXLT executives were leaning more towards stories that were juicier, per se, utilizing fear and sensationalism to drive viewership, in turn generating revenue. The news she was tasked with reporting began to shift further and further towards spectacle and shock, and she frequently rallied against this, to no avail.
Yo, I feel like that's what it is today. Like all news today, like everything that we see on Twitter or I guess TV if you still watch that or whatever on YouTube, it's always like it needs to be the most extreme, which I understand because that's what people click on. So if you're going to be a news reporter, it only makes sense to report on the biggest, like craziest news, good or bad, mostly bad though, because that's what drives more like attention from people. But at the end of the day, like the news companies are businesses and they need to make money, and the biggest priority is to make money. And the best way for them to make money is to get people to watch their stuff. And the best way to get people to watch their stuff is to just have like the most absurd takes and the craziest stories, which oftentimes lead to misinformation or just straight up lies just to get people to watch you, which sucks. And there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of just terrible stuff that happens. And that still happens today. I guess my point is like, I don't even know. It's hard to believe anything that you read online anymore. And I guess that was a thing back then as well.
She became stuck in a mindset, in a world that she was growing to hate. Her professional life, her personal life.
Now, who is that? Why do they keep showing this guy? What is that? I guess we'll find out later, but they never said who that was, I don't think.
Good evening, I'm Steve Newman, and this is Channel 40 Weather Watch. It's going to be even cooler tonight than tomorrow night than tonight. The reason for this, with the passage of the cold front today, when we picked up some showers, skies have cleared very nicely. And as a result...
On the 15th of July, 1974, Christine enthusiastically entered the station. Instead of opening Suncoast Digest traditionally, however, she claimed that there was a newscast she had to read to open it, something that hadn't been done hitherto. She takes her seat at the news desk, and for the first 8 minutes, opens her segment about 3 national news stories and a shooting that took place the day prior. Following this, a film reel of the shooting was supposed to play, but had jammed, leaving a few moments of dead air. In response, Christine apologized for the error before taking out a script she had handwritten and reading to the viewers the following.
Whoa. Now this is where it gets juicy. The following audio is believed to be authentic and was discovered on April 9th, 2021. It depicts Christine's final moments. If you would like to skip this section, okay, I was not expecting it to go there. All right, I'm gonna watch this and then I'm gonna decide if it's gonna stay in my video or not. Yeah, no, this might be crazy. Hang on, what is it?
Last week, teenage gunmen held up the highway bar, and after a shootout in high speed.
Yo, this is making me like anxious, dude. I don't like this.
By Sarasota Sheriff's deputies. Early Sunday morning, the Beef and Bottle restaurant north of Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41 was the site of an attempted armed robbery and shooting. TV 40 newsman Bob Peterson was on the scene shortly after it began, and he filed this report. sorry. For those of you who saw Late Night Weekend News Watch last night, we did have a film report and a commentary by Bob Peterson. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties and cannot bring it to you now. However, News Watch tonight at 5:30, and we'll have that story for you then. As of this morning, Grace Foster, who was shot in that incident, is in satisfactory condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. In keeping with the WXLT practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first. In living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide.
Huh?
At this moment, Christine drew a Smith & Wesson revolver that she had hidden in her bag, placed it behind her right ear, and fired, immediately falling forward onto her desk.
Bro, what?
In a frantic response, the tech directors quickly faded the broadcast to black and scrambled to play a movie thereafter. Calls began to flood in, with viewers questioning the authenticity of what they just witnessed, with some believing that this was just a morbid joke or a prank. However, it was far from it. She was rushed to Sarasota Hospital, and back at the station, the news director, Mike Simmons, had discovered 2 pages of a script left behind by her. The first page contained what we heard prior, however the second was a follow-up intended to be read by a third party. Today, Christine Chubbuck, during a live broadcast, she was rushed to Sarasota Memorial Hospital where she remains in critical condition. Surprisingly, Christine's prediction turned out to be correct, not only because she was at that very hospital, but because she remained in critical condition for 14 hours until her eventual death.
Bro, this is so sad. This is sad.
Christine's body was cremated and spread in the Gulf of Mexico, marking the end of a life full of despair. To those around her and to her loved ones, however, an agonizing void was left that would forever go unfilled. Reportedly, only one tape of this incident existed and was kept by Bob Nelson, the station's owner. After his death, his wife Molly would inherit it before handing it over to a law firm for good. As of now, this is where it lies, and for the foreseeable future, may never see the light of day.
That should never see the light of day. That is just sad, man. And now I feel bad for calling her. Actually, I don't know what I said exactly, but I said she's probably pretty crazy because she never had like a boyfriend or whatever. And she's, you know, she wasn't ugly. She was pretty, but I guess she had some demons that she was fighting. That's just really sad. That's the saddest one. The other ones were like horrifying. That one was just sad. Anyway, I believe this is the last one. Tape number 5. Let's lock in, boys. The woman on the table. CBS? We still have CBS today. CBS Saturday, it said. ABC. We still have that today.
We will return after these messages.
Good morning.
To preface this last entry, I'd like to state from the outset that the following could be absolutely nothing. The answer could be completely mundane. However, the footage in this section has personally stood out to me because of how bizarrely out of place it is and how little info there is about it. I was gonna put it in the next disturbing things. However, I think it fits better here. Let us begin. It's the 1980s.
Yo, now that would give me nightmares as a child.
Beetlejuice makes its debut. Journey, Survivor, Guns N' Roses, and our favorite Rick Astley are on the airwaves. And over on a stand-up comedy show named An Evening at the Improv, a child actor turned musician named Corey Feldman is world premiering his latest track, Something in Your Eyes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start the show off tonight a bit differently than usual. What I'm going to do is I'm going to world premiere my song that I just finished writing and producing with Michael Damian for my new movie, Dream a Little Dream, with Jason Robards. It's called Something in Your Eyes. I'm going to do it right now.
I can't tell if this is a comedy skit or not. They did say this guy's a comedian, right? But he's being being serious about this song?
As we can see, he had a mixed reaction from the audience. Clearly lip-syncing and taking inspiration from Michael Jackson, he employs dance moves in a musical style that attempts to emulate them.
That's
Upon
true.
looking through comments about him on YouTube, it's clear that history hasn't exactly been kind to Feldman. But that's beside the point. The reason I bring this video up in the first place is because, towards the song's end, Feldman's producer makes an incredibly strange cutaway to something that is very out of place for a video like this. Have a look.
It does seem weird, like the way he's dancing and stuff. Considering he's a comedian.
Running away.
Huh?
What is this?
Yo, what?
And why is it here? Nowhere in this song does Feldman make any sort of mention about a woman being bound to a pool table. And after performing a cursory scan of his other music videos, cutaways like this never happen again. This seems eerily out of place, and discussion about this is painstakingly few and far between. The only mentions I could find about it were from Reddit and a few YouTube comments. However, none of them garnered much attention, and their sources are pretty much non-existent. With that being said, let's circle back to the footage so we can break it down ourselves. As we can see, the video of this woman was patched in post-production. Unlike the other cutaways that happened prior, this one has a different border. It's in black and white, and seems to be slightly lower quality than his music video. In the footage, we have a woman with brown or black hair tied up on each corner of the pool table, is in what appears to be a small room with a swinging light above her, and seems to be moving because of discomfort. To me, this footage could be one of three things. Either it's a scene from an obscure movie, a cut of a film, or it could be from a legitimate film. Personally, I believe it's one of the first two. It is on something that's been seen by hundreds, if not thousands, of people. If this were truly as sinister as it's been rumored, it would be a pretty stupid move to put it there. Regardless, this cutaway is one of the weirdest edits I have ever seen, and I'm still struggling to drum up a reason as to why it's there in the first place. I'm curious if you know anything about this, if you've seen it before, if you've heard about it, anything. This is a weird little mystery, and this is where I'm calling for your help.
Whoa.
Who is the woman on the table?
Oh, okay. That scared me. Alright, yeah, that's it. What an insane video by Nexpo. That was awesome. Well, it was awesome in some ways. It was very awful in other ways. So, I think that there are a bunch of more videos like that, though. So, if you guys did enjoy today's video and you want me to watch more, yeah, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.